Welcome back, everybody. We're still here. It's day 3 at the Friday Drinks and Sawira Marketplace. And we've had a chat with a number of people, and it's time we go green. And we've got the right person to talk about it, and that's Cephas Svosve. Cephas, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me around.
Yeah. So EcoWealth, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. So EcoWealth is a company that was founded with the people at heart. So when I think back in time when we started working on EcoWealth, the main reason was we wanted to tackle a problem that's in Zimbabwe, where we all know that people are looking forward to installing solar systems because they're having this problem of no electricity or power outages. But then we looked at it and really looked closely to the problem and then realized that people were not buying solar systems. And the main reason was because they were inaccessible when it comes to the cost. Like a single solar system for a standard home can go for about 2,000 USD, which is quite high considering that an average person could be earning something around 500 USD in the economy. So we then thought around what's the best way to make these solar systems accessible to the community? And we came up with this plan where we are doing solar installations. We do the full installation immediately, and then the person pays over a series of monthly payments over time. So by doing so, it reduces the monthly cost of the system, removes entirely the upfront cost, and the person only has to pay something that they afford monthly.
Okay, that sounds very innovative. So tell me, these are units for households, individual households.
Yes. So if you look into the market, you would see that most corporates have come into the solar space. Like there are a lot of players in the solar space, and they are mostly solving the problems for corporate clients. So we said we want something for the people. No one is really putting much interest into the domestic households to help the people solve this problem.
Okay. And how much power are we talking about here?
So per household, a unit could be 3 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt, or 8 kilowatt.
All right. So you start at 3 kilowatt and there's no maximum?
There is no maximum.
Okay.
So we have only packaged these into packages where we can begin a conversation with a client.
Okay, fantastic. And how long am I paying if I sign up? How long am I paying the installment for? What's the tenure?
So the tenure is up to 24 months. But if you want to reduce it, you can pay in larger installments so that you finish off earlier.
So if I'm sitting in London and I need, a unit from my parents back home, I can sign up and it's for 2 years. And what's the minimum amount I'm paying on a monthly basis?
Yes. So if you are in the UK, you sign up, you pay a down payment of 15%, a commitment fee. Then we do the installation immediately. The minimum payment is for the 3 kilowatt system is going for £67 per month, and you pay this over 24 months.
Okay, yeah, sounds reasonable. What do you think?
No, it's exciting. I mean, the solar space is something that I've been following for quite some time. From 15, 20 years ago, it was associated politically with the renewables and movement, and it was frowned upon by those on the right as impractical. It was expensive, and it couldn't solve as many problems as it can today. And you fast forward to where we are, it's globally the production of solar panels and battery solutions has scaled up to such an extent that the costs have come off materially, and it's become much more accessible in most parts of the world that are richer than Zimbabwe. But in Zim, the hurdle remains financing an installation, even if the cost per watt is extremely competitive. So I think this is a fantastic solution because that's the bottleneck, that's the pain point for a lot of Zimbabweans who have a challenge in terms of solving their, solving for power, but they just don't have upfront cash. So maybe tell us a little bit more about your partnership with NAMCO and how you came to address that particular segment of the market.
Yes. So much appreciation to NAMCO for recognizing the impact, the level of impact that we are going for. But the story goes a long way back. Maybe if I can explain
Sure.
from where this comes from. So I am a PhD at Oxford, and before that I was with Nyarazo group when I worked with them. So when I went to Oxford, I did my PhD in mathematics. Then I did that under the Rhodes Scholarship.
Oh, fantastic.
Well done.
Thank you very much. So yes, it was quite a challenge, but it helped me learn something that's very important. I think one of the things that I learned was that, like, in the Western world, people put ahead research and then products follow behind research. To the extent that you'd see that the sources of fuel that are used in the Western world, like oil, they are used. They are reasonable to use here because this part of the world is their access to energy. But if we look at Africa, we've got sunlight, and we've got more hours of sunlight, more than the average sunlight that you get here in the UK. While it can,
We've been experiencing that
Yes.
sunlight deficit.
we've got like 8 hours for quantitative numbers. We've got like 8 hours compared to 3 hours. That's peak hours of harvestable sunlight. So if you look at this, it is just reasonable for us to incline towards solar than incline towards alternative fuel sources. But because we do not push research forward in this kind of solutions that we make for our own selves, we've relied on copying what the Western world is doing, and eventually we settle at more expensive or non-optimal energy sources. So looking at this, we're like, okay, we need to be in this space. And this space is not only business, it's a good business. And when I say good business, I mean like something that has got a social impact or a social value. Like you do business, but at the end of the day, maybe 2 years later, look at the economy, it's almost entirely different from where you took it from. So we pitched this idea to NAMCO. And I really appreciate Mr. Philippe Mataranyika because I think he's very great when it comes to listening to ideas, and he was very open up. So I told him that we have this space where we can invest these solar systems, but we do not have investment because the Western world views us as a high-risk country. But that high risk is higher than the risk that we actually have on the ground. So there's a risk premium there. And if we can manage to control this risk level, we can sort of like arbitrage out of it, but while as well benefiting the community. So that was the entire idea behind this, that we can actually help the society move forward while pushing for a sustainable product that like regenerates its own sufficiency on the market. So we came up with this product. It doesn't put a burden on the client. It gives them the asset as a collateral. We don't require you to have any collateral. So you're going to use this asset as your collateral, the thing that we gave you. So that removes the burden from the client entirely.
Yeah. You know what? It's a great product, especially in Zimbabwe, because, you know, half the time we actually don't have electricity. So I think this plugs in the gap. And as you rightly pointed out, we have a lot of sunshine. And it's just a way of just harvesting that sunshine for domestic use. And this comes in very well. So I just want to get into the product itself, because I know that there are a number of people who are offering these units in Zimbabwe. And the question now has become about brands. How trusted are the brands that you guys are using? And do you have guarantees around those particular, the infrastructure itself that you're giving the households?
Yes, thank you for asking that. So we offer only high quality brands. So we are doing SunSync systems, grow watt systems, and other related high quality brands. We are not doing the low quality brands because they 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 don't last long, and they are not like the product that you would want for the long run. So us coming into this space facilitates the affordability of these high quality brands because they are expensive. They are not accessible to the average earnings that we have, disposable income. But this kind of financing has facilitated the affordability of these high quality brands. When it comes to warranties, we have got 5-year warranties on the grow watt and 10-year warranties on the SunSync. So this means the systems themselves are trusted to be performing well to that extent.
Okay. And is there insurance on the product itself, the infrastructure itself?
Yes.
If it should get stolen or something should happen.
Yes. So there's embedded insurance. We are working closely with Eureka. But this is insurance against theft, accidental destruction.
Okay.
And yes, they cover for that.
Okay, works well. Thank you very much for this. Do you have any other pertinent questions around the product?
So obviously, you guys have through the Sawira marketplace, people in the UK diaspora can access this product, and for their family and relatives and friends in Zim.
Yes. So you can access this through the Sawira marketplace. We have got our contact details. If you want the product, you just send us a message on WhatsApp and we will respond immediately.
Okay. So this is just for individuals and it doesn't, what about small scale entrepreneurs, guys running small to medium enterprises? Is there an opportunity for them to work with you?
Yes. So we do everything. We cover everyone. We cover SMEs, we cover big companies, we cover households, and we do also solar system upgrades. We do repairs and all those sort of things.
Okay, great. So just away from the product, I've just got one question because you said something that was interesting, that you did a PhD in mathematics. Could you just give us a bit of background on what your research topic was on and what your findings were?
Thank you very much. I focused on an area called volatility forecasting on stock markets. It's a very complex topic, but what it does is when I
heard Tinashe ask that question, I was scratching my head thinking.
No, but I can explain it to you, I think. I've
Yeah.
tried to explain it to some people and they've actually thought it was interesting. So let me give it my best try.
Okay.
So if you're on the stock market, you want to see how much a stock will fluctuate, price will fluctuate the following day. Mm-hmm. That's important because if you are a trader on the market, you want to place a buy and a sell trade. So if you can pinpoint by how much it fluctuates, then that means you know when to place your buy and when to place your sell. So you make more profits. So there is a theory by a guy called Julian Guyon who says you can predict this better if you looked at the history of returns of that stock.
Yeah.
But this is a model that's optimized by a machine learning model. Like he's just fitting the model, but he can't explain why this works. Mm-hmm. So I derive a mathematical proof that this should work. And because of that proof, you now have confidence that going forward out of sample, this should work.
Okay. Do you know another Zimbabwean who has a similar sort of research?
Who's that?
Professor Mtuli.
Oh, yeah.
His PhD is on stochastic
derivative pricing.
Yeah, derivative pricing using the error term in stock prices.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So he was looking around the same sort of thing. Where is it applicable? Where else could we apply the same research beyond just the stock market?
So this product is an application of that research.
Okay.
We tried to package it in a simple way because then but what's happening behind the scenes is actually these concepts. So when I mentioned that, like if you look at the Western world, they view us as a high risk country. So whenever they want, they don't want to give us finance. And if you look locally, there are microfinancial institutions. If an individual wants to walk into a microfinance, they're charged something like 15% or 10% per month, which is highly unreasonable. So they are pricing risk. And risk is how much price fluctuates. So they're saying, okay, this client, if we give them money, they have a probability that they may not return this money. And they are putting a price to that probability of not being able to return the money. But we are saying, whatever their estimation is probably too high than what's actually on the ground. Mm-hmm. So there is an arbitrage opportunity that if we place a cheaper product, we can still benefit and not experience those default rates that are claimed by non-mathematical based pricings.
Okay. So if you'll allow me, it raises an interesting question, right? Because observers and analysts can argue about what a fair or reasonable interest rate is, right? And then, I'll come through as a free market advocate and say, no, well, the market is telling us something. If there are people who are writing loans at 10, 15% per month, and they're finding customers and they're running a business on that model, maybe there's something that pricing and those transactions is telling us that we are not actually, that we don't understand, because we're sitting on the terraces and we're pontificating and judging and saying, well, that's not reasonable, that's too high, or we form all these judgments and opinions. But the market, surely, if it was too high, some cheaper money would come into the market at lower rates, and those guys trading at the unreasonable rates would be carried out.
Yes, that's for sure. I think you raise an important question, and get me right, I don't mean to say the current pricing is wrong. The current pricing is its own reasons behind that. But when you come to this kind of product where you have provided someone with the collateral, you reduce their risk. These systems come with anti-theft mechanisms that once you install it, it has some restrictions to theft. But you would see that these kind of people, when they go to take such loans, they're charged the same rates as a person who's borrowing to start a business. So already, when you look at that, there's a difference in risk. And if there's a fair pricing, someone should get a lower rate.
Okay, so maybe let me tie in the two, and let's hear what you think, if I got you correctly, right? Especially with your PhD research. What you're saying is true as far as the pricing is concerned. So let's take it in Zimbabwe, the pricing is at 15% per month for a particular product. But that's all you know, that it's 15%, and you think it's correctly priced, which is true. What he's saying is, okay, that's true, but let's find out the reasons why it's 15%. And if I can break those reasons why, so if it's whatever risk, you can break it down, and then surely there's something that's inbuilt there that shouldn't be there, or that I can
mitigate.
And if I can mitigate that, that's where the arbitrage is. You don't know what to mitigate. All you just know is 15%.
It's 10%.
But he's saying, well, if I can mitigate one or two items, I could reduce the risk to 5%. And actually that arbitrage is my profit.
Yes, exactly.
Have I got it right?
Yes, and then you unlock a new business world. And so this is also motivated behind the impact as well. So saying, okay, we can be innovative about risk, but while also pushing forward impact, then it becomes a useful product.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
Fascinating. I think
Interesting.
There's so many questions. I think, unfortunately, our time is limited, but I think that there's a lot to explore in that universe of
Pricing.
unpacking the risk premium for Zim, because a lot of money won't touch Zim because of the perception. And I tend to agree with your take that, they're getting a lot of things wrong when they look at Zim and price Zim risk.
Well, we've got a bit of time because he is a mathematician, so you can answer some of these questions. My question would be around, because you are a mathematician, it's around uncertainty and risk. And so far, what you've discussed and what you've talked about is risk. And maybe part of that 15% has to really do with uncertainty. And how are you going to price uncertainty as a mathematician?
So I think let me first distinguish between risk and uncertainty. So when we talk about risk, we are talking about what we do not know that might be detrimental to our actions, but which we can measure. Looking back in history, you know that this number of people have defaulted. So you can put up measures to say, okay, given that which has happened in history, X amount can default, might default. That's a risk. When you talk of uncertainty, is those risks that we can't measure. Like looking forward, there are things like climate change. It has never happened in history. We don't know. So if we look forward, what's going to be the outcome of uncertainty? So back to your question, speaking of uncertainty, we've tried to mitigate uncertainties. Firstly, the channeling of the product towards the diaspora community is to hedge a bit of uncertainty when it comes to local policies, but while also still facilitating that the locals benefit from these immediate needs. Because electricity is highly important. Like I had a client who said, my mother is on an oxygen and we need a solar system, which we can monitor and electronically. So you see, like if someone is tying life on this, it means it's an immediate need. Even if we have these uncertainties in policy, we still need to provide solutions for this. So to cover such uncertainties, we are also exploring ways to connect the products with external markets. So that if it's an uncertainty that we are dealing with, it's probably a global uncertainty which no one else is covering.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Cephas. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And we hope to expand more, especially with your PhD research and how we can actually apply that. And it's great to know that you're actually applying it with EcoWealth. And I'm sure there are many places where we could apply the same. So thank you very much for joining us, and to everybody, welcome and thank you. And let's continue the discussion on Friday Drinks, Sawira Marketplace. Cheers.
Thank you very much.